Hello to everyone. Hello to our online viewers. Welcome to our webinar on education in the new normal. Before we proceed to our webinar, to my topic, I would like to say thank you to Pinyal Learning Center, managed by Mrs. Angelita Tenorio, for inviting me to be one of your speakers. And of course, to the Department of Education Region 1 for giving me this presentation that I will be providing you in this webinar session. So when we say education in the new normal, this particularly um, speaks about the education of our children in this situation right now. As we all know, the world globally, we are affected by this pandemic. So what are we going to do now if our learners or our children cannot go to the school to do the face-to-face learning? Are we going to stop these children to learn? Or are they going to continue learning even though they are at home? So in this session, we're going to answer all your queries regarding the education in this new normal of education. So to begin with, how old are your children? How many children do you have in your house or in your home? Imagine, for example, you have five children. How are you going to manage the learning of those five children in your own home alone? Or you are working, both of you, kayong mag-asawa is both of you are working. So how are you going to teach the child at home? Those are challenges na mamimit natin along the way in the education in the new normal. Okay, so let's move on to our objective. At the end of the session, the participants, will be able to provide support to the continuous education of learners amidst the new normal. So even though we are in the pandemic, we must ensure that learning must take place to our home or to our learners. Our enabling objectives. So at the end of the session, the participants are expected to discuss the vital role of educational providers in ensuring the continuous education of children. So who are these educational providers? That includes you as the parent or guardian of these children. Another one, we're going to state the vital roles of parents and stakeholders in ensuring education or learning of their children. So, as the parent, you are now the main provider of learning to your children. So, how are you going to do that? In this session, we're going to discuss some tips or strategies on how are you going to teach your children at home. So, we embrace the new normal in the delivery of education due to the COVID-19 crisis. Am I right? Before, hindi natin pinapansin yung pagsusuot ng face mask, paglalagay ng mga face shields, um, social distancing, and even hindi natin din ini-expect that children will be staying 24/7 in their home. So those changes in the new normal is we're going to embrace them. We have to embrace these situations because we are now living in the new normal. As the Department of Education underscores the important role of parents and guardians in making sure that the learning of children will continue amid expected uh, regarding the education of children. Okay, so bilang mga magulang, napaka-importante po ng role natin sa pag-deliver or pagbibigay ng learning sa mga bata. Especially so ngayong new normal tayo, marami tayong responsibilidad ngayon bilang mga magulang. According to our Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones, the DepEd Secretary, Education must continue even in times of crisis, whether it may be a calamity, disaster, emergency, quarantine, or even war. Bakit kaya kailangan na education must continue? Para sa ganon, yung mga bata will also continue to acquire skills, continue to acquire knowledge, kahit na anumang sitwasyon na nangyayari sa ating paligid. Hindi dapat matigil ang pagkatuto ng mga bata. That's why ini-emphasize ng ating departamento that education must continue even in these times of crisis. For example, merong pandemic. So kung hindi natin i-educate yung mga bata on how to conduct the social distancing, kung paano yung paggamit ng mga alcohol o kaya maging aware sila sa kanilang kalusugan, hindi hindi natin maipaparating sa kanila yun kung matitigil ang education sa kanila. Pagdating naman sa mga academics, kailangan pa rin natin silang bigyan ng nararapat na estratehiya or learning para sa ganun, tuloy-tuloy yung pag-a-acquire nila ng knowledge and skills. According naman sa ating regional director na si Tolentino G. Aquino, Sir Tolentino G. Aquino, ang pag-ikot ng mundo ay hindi mapipigilan ng COVID. Tama po yun. Ganon din sa pagsulong ng edukasyon. Hindi dapat tayo tumigil, lalo na sa ah, mga bata na kailangan talaga pa nila na mabigyan ng sapat na edukasyon o sapat na pagkatuto. Kung tutuusin, ang COVID-19 ay maghahatid sa atin sa old normal. Tama po. Sa panahon kung kailan ang ating mga magulang ay nakatutok sa ating pag-aaral pagdating sa bahay mula sa paaralan. Tama po ang ating mahal na regional director na si Tolentino Aquino. Na kung tutuusin talaga, hindi na pagdating sa edukasyon, hindi new normal ang tawag na sa home education or homeschooling ng mga bata. Kasi kahit noon pa man, meron na tayong tinatawag na homeschooling. Noon, ang practice pa ng mga magulang natin, sila yung naunang mga teacher or naunang mga guro sa ating mga anak o sa ating mga bata. Tama po? Sila yung unang mga nagtuturo, sila yung unang nagbibigay ng kaalaman, ng skill sa mga bata. Sa panahon ngayon, sa paglipas kasi ng panahon, nagiging busy or nagkakaroon na ng trabaho yung parehas na magulang. Kaya, naibibigay na lamang ang full na pag-aaral ng mga bata sa eskwelahan. Sa ngayon, dahil sa new normal, babalik tayo sa dating nakagawian natin na kung saan kayo po ng mga magulang ang magtuturo sa ating mga anak. DepEd is preparing for the implementation of multimodal approaches to learning such as online learning, face-to-face, classroom instruction, may still not be possible if schools remain closed due to the continued threat of COVID-19. That is according to our Undersecretary Annalyn Sevilla. Tama po kasi hanggat merong threat ng COVID-19, wala munang face-to-face. Yung tinatawag nating face-to-face, ito yung mga bata na papasok mismo sa eskwelahan o sa mga learning centers. Kasi pwede silang mahawa or pwede silang makakuha ng sakit pag tinuloy natin ang face-to-face. So meron tayong iba't ibang multimodal approaches o learning delivery modes na pwedeng ibigay sa mga bata kahit na nasa bahay po sila. Number one na po dyan, yung DepEd prepares for the new normal in education. So, ang ginagawa ng DepEd, nag-prepare po kami ng mga dapat nating gawin para sa ganon ay continue pa rin yung education ng mga bata sa ganitong sitwasyon. Hindi po kami tumitigil na mag-brainstorm, hindi kami tumitigil na mag-plan pagdating sa pag-aaral ng mga bata. Adoption and implementation of DepEd Learning Continuity Plan. Yan po yung isang pinagkakaabalahan ngayon ng ating departamento, ang pag-draft or yung pag-plan sa learning continuity ng mga bata. Another one, overall preparation for the opening of classes. So, ano nga bang mangyayari sa opening of classes? Paano nga ba i-embrace ng mga magulang yung bagong setup? Paano nga ba mag-a-adjust yung mga bata sa bagong setup natin ngayon? Adoption of flexible work scheme for teachers and non-teaching personnel. So, dahil iniingatan din natin yung kalusugan ng ating mga guro, binibigyan din ng DepEd yung ating departamento, binibigyan din ng mga teachers and non-teaching personnel ng flexible work scheme. Ganon din sa mga learning centers. Iniingatan din natin yung mga teachers natin, yung mga educational provider, para sa ganon, hindi rin sila mahawa sa sakit. Another one is teacher training. So, yung mga teachers natin sa learning centers, sa Department of Education, halos lahat po ng institution is nagkakandak na ng mga training pagdating sa new normal in education. Katulad po ng ganito, kinakandak po ng ating learning center yung ganitong setup para sa ganon, malaman ng mga magulang kung ano nga ba at kung paano nila ipaparating yung pag-aaral ng mga bata o kung paano nila itutuloy yung learning ng mga bata. Then, preparation of learning modules, activity worksheets, and video lessons to cover the key elements of a lesson. Kung mapapansin po ninyo, yung mga learning centers natin o kaya yung mga eskwelahan, halos lahat po ng mga educational providers, nag-iisip na po ng mga paraan kung paano ma-deliver yung learning sa mga bata. Isa na po dyan yung pag-prepare nila ng learning modules, they're already preparing activity worksheets and video lessons. Some of the schools are also will be providing online learning for the learners, especially those in the learning centers. They can provide online learning to your learners para on time or synchronous yung learning. Communication with parents and other stakeholders, isa na po ito sa mga paraan natin. So, we are communicating with you, dear parents, and our stakeholders para sa ganun is ma-adapt natin kung ano yung mga magiging changes doon sa old normal from old normal to the new normal in education. Okay, so these are some of the suggested activities or strategies pagdating sa pag-deliver ng education sa new normal. Okay, first, yung modular learning. Ano nga ba yung modular learning? Ito po, yung teachers will distribute modules at the start of the month or the start of the opening of the classes. So, yung mga learning centers natin or yung mga schools natin, they're going to give you some modules at the start of the class. Para sa ganun is merong gagawin yung mga bata at home. Meron silang modules na sasagutan, pag-aaralan, so that learning will continue. Then, who will teach these children or who will teach our children at home? Parents will guide learners as they read through the module. They can also consult with teachers via SMS. So, yung parents, you will be the guide of the learners as they read through the module. So, as they go through the module or as they are studying the module, you as the parent, you are there to guide the learner. You are there to guide your children. So, kung meron kayong hindi, for example, maintindihan doon sa modules, you can always consult yung teachers ninyo or the learning center na kung saan naka-enroll yung mga bata. That's why napakahalaga ng role ng mga learning centers natin kasi they will be also guiding the learners kung medyo busy tayo or kung marami tayong ginagawa, you can consult or you can provide learning sa mga bata through learning centers. During the week, parents will take note of which strategies work and what support they still need for modular learning. So, sa mga modules na ibibigay, for example, kayong mga parents, tayong mga parents, as we are guiding our learners, we are also noting down which strategies work best for our learners. So, if we know the best strategies that work for them, we can also employ those strategies in our home. And for example, a strategy is not good for the learner, we can always find support to the learning centers or to the school or to the teacher of the child. So the teacher will arrange to collect the outputs of the students every end of the week. Okay. Another strategies na binigay po ng ating departamento sa ating mga learning center, sa ating mga schools, online distance learning. Ito po, teachers will upload instructional material. Okay, for example, merong website yung ating school or yung ating learning centers. So they will upload instructional materials. Example, yung mga videos, readings, online platform chosen which the student may study for a particular day. So, for example, merong about reading yung ibibigay ng learning centers natin, they will upload it in doon sa website or doon sa social media. That is also a form of online distance learning sa social media or any online platform. Okay, so another one, teachers will set up a discussion bin with guide question where the students can discuss ideas about the lesson. So, yung mga teachers natin sa learning centers or sa mga schools, they will set up a discussion bin. Merong parang group. They have the group chat. So, yung mga learning centers natin, pwedeng gumawa ng group chat na kung saan included lahat ng parents doon. So that if they have any questions uh, regarding the material or regarding the instructional material or regarding the readings ng mga bata, you can always ask that in the group chat or in any discussion pin or discussion board na isasagawa ng ating mga learning centers. Lesson worksheets will be uploaded for the student to work on independently, but the teacher should be available for consultation. Yan. So yung mga worksheets, yung mga learning centers natin, i-provide nila sa atin yung mga worksheets na pwedeng i-download ng mga bata. Then another one is face-to-face learning. Pag wala na pong threat ng COVID-19, we will go on with the face-to-face learning. However, wala pa ngayon, wala pa pong face-to-face learning at this moment kasi meron pa pong threat ng COVID-19. So, ang responsibility ngayon ng DepEd or any educational learning institution may be extended to parents and other family members to ensure the success in implementing online learning. Tama po kasi bilang mga educational providers, kailangan i-extend namin yung aming support, yung aming mga responsibility sa inyo bilang mga parents and other family members para sa ganun ma-ensure na merong matutunan yung mga bata na natututo talaga sila pagdating sa lesson na ibibigay through online learning or any modalities ng learning. So yung parents or other family members like yung grandparents, aunties or uncles, and even the nanny, so we need to give them orientation. Kaya ginagawa natin ito, Education in the New Normal, webinar series ng Piniel Learning Center kasi gusto namin iparating sa inyo na magkakaroon ng panibagong approach doon sa education or learning ng mga bata. So why tap the parents? You as the parents, why are we tapping you now? Why are we giving you orientation? So because parents are the experts on their children. kayo po ang mas nakakaalam ng mga anak po ninyo, ng mga anak po natin. Tayo po bilang mga magulang, alam natin kung ano yung gusto nila, yung mga hindi nila gusto, yung mga ginagawa nila sa bahay na alam natin na pwedeng mag-contribute sa learning nila, yung mga hobbies nila, yung mga wants nila na pwedeng magamit natin sa motivation sa mga bata. So we know our children well. That's why we are tapping you as the parents. Another one, parents accumulate a wealth of knowledge about their children as learners. So, di ba, from birth hanggang sa paglaki nila, alam natin kung kailan sila masaya, kung kailan sila malungkot, alam natin kung kailan sila natututo, kung kailan sila hindi natututo. We all have this knowledge about our children as learners. Alam din natin kung nagbabasa ba sila, alam natin kung what they are doing doon sa mga books nila o doon sa mga binibigay na mga activities. So, we know well our children. There is no smaller classroom than a family's living room. So, there is no better way to personalize instruction than through a parent. Kasi kung tayong mga magulang ang mag-serve as guide or as teacher sa mga anak natin, we know well kung ano yung instruction that best for them. Hindi po ba? Yan. So, there is no smaller classroom than a family's living room. Kasi, tingnan natin sa bahay natin, halos lahat niya ng dingding, may sulat, may crayons, o kung minsan, pati yung listahan mo sa office nyo or yung notebook mo, may mga sulat ng mga bata. Halos lahat ng gamit natin sa bahay, minsan, merong mga tatak ng pagiging isang bata o learner ng isang anak natin. Tama po? So, alam natin kung ano yung ginagawa nila sa bahay. So, this is way na mas personalized ba yung instruction natin sa kanila. Parang it's more on mas touching siya, tsaka mas maganda siya na way of instruction sa. So, how are we going to teach our children at home? Paano nga ba natin sila tuturuan sa ganong new normal? Diba? So, we are now putting our shoes to the teachers of our children. Ayan, so ilalagay natin yung mga paa natin sa kanilang mga sapatos. So, how are we going to do this? Number one, we establish routines and expectations. So, before the lesson starts, so we have to establish yung routine and expectation. So, ano nga ba yung mangyayari pag sinimulan na ninyo yung pag-aaral sa bahay? Yung routine naman, for example, sa umaga, ano yung gagawin niya muna? Anong susunod doon na gagawin niya? Ano yung mga daily routines na pwede natin ibigay sa mga anak natin para ma-establish natin yung structured learning sa mga bata. For example, ano yung mauunang pag-aaralan niya? Ano yung susunod na pag-aaralan niya? Ganun. Establish natin yung routine. For example, sa isang subject naman, ano yung una muna niyang gagawin before you teach the subject? Pwedeng sumayaw muna siya, o kumanta, yung give motivation. Meron ng listahan ng mga gagawin ng mga bata. Parang plano. At kung ano yung expectation at the end of the lesson. Alam na ng bata kung ano yung goal natin para sa kanila. So, provide learning space at home. Yan. Meron bang space para sa pag-aaral ng anak natin? For example, kailangan ba sa bedroom? Baka matulog naman siya habang tinuturuan natin siya. Sa living room ba? Baka naman naka-on yung TV, hindi rin makakonsentrate yung bata. Kailangan ba sa kitchen? Baka pag naaamoy niya yung mga food doon, is magugutom lalo yung bata. So, we have to provide learning space at home na kung saan komportable yung bata na kung saan is matututo siyang maigi. So, bigyan niyo siya ng table, ng upuan, at saka ng well-ventilated siya, at saka uh, merong magandang ambience or atmosphere para sa ganun ma-feel ng bata na ma-motivate siya na mag-aral. Provide learning equipment and materials. Ayan. Siyempre, pag katulad din sa school, sa bahay, kailangan bigyan din natin sila ng mga learning materials. Kung kailangan ng crayons, then you give the child a crayon. Kung kailangan niya ng pencil and notebook, you give the child. Kung kailangan din niya ng manood, for example, kasi merong kailangan mo ng video support doon sa learning, bigyan mo siya ng iPad or ng cellphone na pwede niyang mapanood yung video na gusto mo ipanood sa kanya. Number 4, establish a school day educational schedule. For example, every Wednesday, di ba? Pwedeng gawin mong school day educational schedule yon. Or pwedeng MWF, ayan, or pwedeng DPH. Depende sa schedule na ibibigay sa inyo ng learning center ninyo. Basta ang mahalaga dito is matapos ng bata yung mga activities na nag-i-enjoy siya at meron siyang natututunan. Number 5, provide guidance and assistance. Yan ang isang role natin bilang mga magulang. We have to provide guidance and assistance sa mga bata. For example, lalo na sa mga beginners natin, di ba? Kailangan nila ng guidance, maximum guidance and assistance. Kasi hindi nila masyadong maintindihan yung nandoon sa activities or nandoon sa module. So we have to explain it to them. I-guide natin yung bata. Hindi tayo ang gagawa ng activities nila, kundi tayo ang mag-guide sa kanila. Para sa ganun is matututo yung bata. Number 6, open lines of communication. Yung sabihin, yung mga magulang, kailangan open line yung communication nila sa mga teachers, sa mga educational providers natin. Pwede sa Facebook, text, call, email, ayan. Depende kung ano yung isi-set na communication method na gagawin ng learning centers. And number 7, of course, teach life skills. Okay. So yung sa established routines and expectation, we create a flexible routine and talk about how it's working over time. Tama? And it is important to develop good habits from the start. At the start of the learning, we must develop yung good study habits na sa kanila. Para sa ganun, while they're growing, natututunan nila na, ito pala yung magandang gawin para mas lalo akong matututo or mas lalo kong mapahusay yung sarili ko. Okay. Then, provide a learning space at home by making the effort to set aside a child special learning space for your child. You are encouraging new skills and creating spirit of learning that will impact your child's life for a long time. So, kung merong learning space sa bahay, pwedeng ma-develop or it can develop your child's creativity, sharpen their focus, and increase their motivation to read and learn. For example, yung anak mo gusto niya ng music what he or she is learning. So you can provide maybe soft music para habang siya ay nag-aaral, meron siyang napapakinggan, mas nakakapag-focus siya. Or for example, gusto niya ng medyo maliwanag, or gusto niya ng medyo dim. Depende kung ano yung preference ng anak mo kasi you know well your child. We know well our children. That's why, in providing learning space at home, pwede tayong gamitin natin or alamin natin yung learning preference nila. Okay po? So provide a learning space at home. Set up a physical location that's dedicated to school-focused activities. Make sure it is quiet, free from distraction. Baka naman sa tabi ka ng kalsada, for example, laging dumadaan yung mga sasakyan. So, how are you going to set up a learning space at home na hindi masyadong naririnig yung mga sasakyan. Di ba? Or for example, dun sa area na pagbibigyan mo ng learning space sa anak mo is laging may naririnig na mga distractions, na naririnig na mga bata na naglalaro sa labas, so madidistract yung anak mo. Okay? Then provide learning equipment and materials na pinapayo na siguraduhin may gamit pang eskwela ang mga anak. At siguraduhin din meron silang modules or activities na gagawin na ibibigay ng learning centers. Okay? Para sa online delivery, ayan, dapat meron kayong maayos na internet connection. Para sa ganun is ma-download natin yung mga uh, learning. O kaya ay pag mag-online learning is hindi nagbabak. Okay? And another one, establish a school day educational schedule. Yan. Meron silang class schedule. At dapat ito ay laging sundin. Huwag kayong mag-skip. Kasi kung mag-i-skip tayo, o kaya, for example, sa first week, okay pa naman. Tapos sa second week, is parang hindi na nabibigyan ng priority. Kailangan consistent tayo. Kailangan gawin natin ito routinely, religiously, para sa ganun is ma-develop natin sa mga bata yung good study habits. Siguro din laging konsultahin ang schedule at siguraduhin i-enjoy ang bawat oras ng pag-aaral kasamang mga anak. Ariin nyo na ito na parang bonding time ninyo sa mga bata. During your classroom instruction or during your home instruction, parang banding nyo na ito na mag-ina or mag-ama. Pwede nyo isali si nanay, si tatay, si mga kapatid while the child is learning also. Kung saan, meron silang may contribute doon sa learning ng bata. Parang banding time na rin. So, provide guidance and assistance. So, makinig kayo sa mga anak natin. We must listen to your children. For example, 3 hours na siyang nag-aaral doon sa bahay. So, tapos sinasabi niya nagugutom na siya, pagod na siya. We must listen to our children. Pwede natin silang bigyan ng break. Yan. Huwag natin kaligtaang bigyan ng break yung mga bata. Hindi kasi pwede na dire-diretso. Sa school kasi meron tayong break time or recess. Ganun din sa bahay. Bigyan natin sila ng recess or ng mga break time. So, allow your child to talk freely. Ask your child open-ended questions. So, for example, how are you today? Or how do you feel today? Can you tell me how do you feel today? So, what are we going to do today? Something like that. Always answer your child's question truthfully. So, pag nagtanong sa inyo yung mga anak natin regarding the activity or the module, yung sagot natin kailangan is lagi truthful siya. Totoo siya para sa ganon is yung concept na dinidevelop natin sa kanila is mas lalo pang ma-enhance. Try to assist your child in his academic task when needed. So kung kailangan niya ng guidance ninyo, ng assistance, you provide it to your children. Anyway, tayo namang mga magulang ang bibigay sa kanila ng assistance and guidance and support sa kanilang mga sabi. So, open lines communication, yan. So, you must know the CP number, email, FB account of your teachers, of your learning, educational learning providers. Okay? Then, be active dun sa mga GC natin. Pag may questions kayo, do not hesitate to ask. Always ask kung meron kayong mga hindi maintindihan. Then, always makipag-ugnayan sa tamang otoridad kung may iba pang katanungan o concern patungkol sa pag-aaral ng ating mga anak. So, kaya nandito yung mga learning centers natin, like Pinyel Learning Center, kasi they can provide education sa mga anak natin, they can provide assistance sa mga anak natin, and then they can also provide support, especially sa mga topic na hindi natin ma-explain sa mga bata. They can do it for you. Okay, so, lastly, we must teach them life skills. For example, life skills go hand in hand with development. It can help your child succeed later in life. Kung sa bahay, tapos na yung mga activities niya, pwede natin silang bigyan ng mga activities where they can develop their life skills. For example, basic housekeeping, yan, magluto, maglaba, maghugas, magwalis, basic financial management, o magbilang ng pera, gano'n, how to cook something, o marunong na ba silang magluto ng rice, ng itlog, so on and so forth. Then they can also do spiritual reflections while at home. Ayan, so pwede tayong magbasa ng Bible, mag-pray, yung mga ganun ng mga activities. Then social ethics also, then basic legal knowledge. Yan. So, pwede natin silang tuturuan ng mga ganito na kakailanganin din nila later on in their life. Okay. And then focus and self-control kasi kung dinidevelop natin yung life skills nila, we are also developing focus and self-control, perspective-taking communication, making connections, critical thinking, taking on challenges, and self-directed engaged learning. Ayan po. So, napakahalaga po ng life skills sa mga bata. Huwag po nating hayaan na lumaki yung mga anak natin without teaching them life skills. So in this pandemic, in this new normal, this is the best way or best time natin para turuan sila ng basic na mga life skills. Kahit maglaba man lang o magluto, mga ganun. Okay po. Yan. So, why learning centers? Ayun. So, bakit kailangan natin yung mga learning centers? Katulad ng Pinya Learning Center. Una, students get additional practice in areas they feel are weak. So, kung merong mga subjects or merong mga concept or may area doon sa binigay ng mga activities ng school natin na hindi nila masyadong maintindihan or kung saan mahina sila, ang learning center ngayon is mag-provide ng additional practice na kung saan ito is modified siya, ito is na-task analyze siya para sa ganun mas lalong maintindihan ng mga bata. So as they go on dun sa activities na ibibigay ng learning centers natin, mas madi-develop ngayon yung kanilang skills. So yung weakness nila na mga areas, through learning centers ngayon, bibigyan sila ng mga additional practice or activities, mas lalo silang gagaling doon, mas lalo silang madi-develop doon. Another one, you can cover material you won't otherwise have time for. For example, you don't have time for your children na to teach the particular subject kasi meron kang work or meron kang gagawin. So, nandyan parati yung learning centers natin to provide materials na hindi na natin kayang i-provide sa mga bata. Okay? So, napakahalaga rin ng role ng mga learning centers natin. Another one, you can assign specific tasks to students. So, yung mga learning centers natin, nagbibigay yan ng mga specific tasks na gagawin ng mga bata. Para sa ganun is mas lalo silang ma-develop. Mas matutulungan sila na matapos yung mga activities nila na ibibigay ng school or ibibigay ng kanilang mga teachers. Students learn at their own pace. Yan ang isa sa pinakamaganda na bagay sa learning centers. They can study in their own pace. So, for example, gusto nilang pag-aralan dito sa gabi or sa umaga, they can study it at their own pace sa kanilang sariling oras. Bibigyan sila ng activities, okay, yung learning center magbibigay ng activities, but pwedeng gawin na yun ng bata in his or her own pace. Okay? Yeah. So, other one, learning centers provide downtime for overstimulated students. Yan ang isa sa maganda pagdating sa mga learning centers. Binibigyan sila ng mga activities na pwedeng mag-calm down sa kanila or pwedeng magpa-relax sa kanila kasi napagod yung brain nila. For example, sa mga activities or sa mga worksheets or workbooks, ang learning centers ngayon, magpo-provide yan ng mga downtime activities para ma-relax, para maibalik yung energy, para maibigay sa kanila uh, yung tamang motivation para matapos nila yung mga activities. Okay? So, yun yung mga kahalagahan ng mga learning centers natin. Okay, so these are our references. And of course, before I end, I would like to say thank you so much to the owner of this presentation. Medyo meron lang akong dinagdag. May edit lang po ako. And I acknowledge the owner. Maraming maraming salamat po for letting me borrow your presentation. And of course, Department of Education, Region 1, thank you so much. And also, thank you so much to Pinyal Learning Center also for giving me this opportunity to provide orientation on the education in the new normal for their parents and for their learners. Um, ito po yung magandang gawain natin ngayon sa panahong ganito. We must share the knowledge and we must share the skills. So, another one, we focus on our children, on our learners. Para sa ganun is, kahit na nasa bahay sila, they are still learning. Again, thank you so much to all of you, sa mga viewers natin in this webinar session. Thank you so much.